Thank you, Jared. It's with great pleasure that David and I speak to you tonight, as you will understand when you hear the substance of our talk. We stand before you. Can you hear me enough? We stand before you with knife wounds in our backs. Admittedly, you wouldn't be able to see them, but we can feel them. We have been attacked in this way because we had the temerity to stand up and say that those who had owned the Thunderbolt debate for the last couple of decades, those who had been propagating their own version of the Thunderbolt facts, were wrong. I was advised when they found out that I was writing the book Captain Thunderbolt and His Lady that I should toe the party line, but naturally I wrote my book using the actual historical records. In the aftermath, when they couldn't fault the evidence, the message, they turned around and attempted to destroy the messenger. David became involved when he asked me to write a review of the book Thunderbolt, Scourge of the Rangers, which presents their version of the Thunderbolt facts. David, at the University of New England, is of course in the heart of Thunderbolt territory, which was up in the northern area of New South Wales. So it was appropriate for the Journal of Australian Colonial History that there should be a review of this book written. David asked me to write the review, suggested 500 words. I managed to bargain up to 750, 1,000, 1,500 and 2,000 when I handed it over. And he read it. He said, "Oh, there's so much more that could be written about this." And I said, "Yes, you just wanted a review though." And he mentioned some of the local political resonances. And I said, "Very interesting, why don't we co-write an article?" And that article was exposing an expose which has just been published. Why would a 140-year-old bushranging story generate so much interest and such an extraordinary response? And what does this response reflect about human nature and society today? That's essentially the substance of our talk. 3 years ago, I talked at the Sydney Institute about my previous book, Breaking the Bank, which was a story of Australia's largest ever bank robbery. Some of you probably attended that talk. My venture into Thunderbolt territory began when I actually rang my publisher to say that there was Hollywood film interest in Breaking the Bank, which is still grumbling along, which is fortunate. And the conversation followed on, and she said, "What are you thinking about working on next? I think you should write a story about a strong female character." And I raised the subject of female bushranger, and she thought that sounded like a good idea. So I got on the internet and Googled female bushranger. Don't you love the internet? And came across Mary Ann Bugg, the woman who would take over my life for the next 3 years. Beautiful, educated, intelligent, feisty and part Aboriginal. And she was the lover of the bushranger Captain Thunderbolt, the